Uganda President Kaguta Museveni has warned against his people misbehaving during this COVID-19 period. And this is what he said, if I can quote, that God has a lot of work. He has the whole world to look after. He cannot just be here in Uganda looking after idiots. Now, we are fighting a war against COVID-19, and the government has tried to put all the measures that can be able to help us as human beings to be able to fight this COVID-19. Every country is trying its level best. We are aware of the statistic that is here in the world currently, how many have died in USA, how many have died in Italy, how many have died in France, how many have died in these other countries, including Africa, where we have the greatest number of deaths recorded in South Africa. In a war situation, nobody asks anyone to stay indoors. You stay indoors by choice. In fact, if you have a basement, you hide there for as long as hostility persists. During a war, you don't insist on your freedom. You willingly give it up for the exchange of survival. During a war, you don't complain of hunger. You bear hunger and pray that you live to eat again. During war, you don't argue about opening your businesses. You close your shop if you have the time and run for your life. You pray to outlive the war so that you can return to your businesses that has not been looted or destroyed by a mortal fire. Now, during a war, you are thankful to God for seeing another day in the land of the living. During a war, you don't worry about your children not going to school. You pray that the government does not forcefully enlist them as soldiers to be trained in the school premises now turned military depot. The world is currently in a state of war, a war without guns and bullets, a war without human soldiers, a war without borders, a war without ceasefire agreements, a war without war room, a war without sacred zones. Now, the army in this war is without mercy. It is without any milk of human kindness. It is indiscriminate. It has no respect for children, women, places of worship, leaders, poor, rich people, regardless of the gender, regardless of where you are, regardless of whichever political position you are in. This disease does not discriminate. This is not concerned about the rich men or resources underneath the earth. It is not even interested in religion, ethnic, or ideological hegemony. Its ambitious has nothing. It has nothing to do with racial superiority. I think this is the first time here we are saying that the whites are dying in as much as the black. In fact, this disease is more rampant in the Western than it is in the African countries. It is an invisible, full-throated, and ruthless, effective army. Its only agenda is the harvest of death, only interested in the death of people. It is only satiated after turning the world into one big death field. Its capacity to achieve its aim is not in doubt without ground, amphibious and aerial machines. It has bases in almost every country of the world. Its movement is not governed by any war convention or protocol. In short, it is a law unto itself. It is coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, because it announced its destructive presence and intention in the year 2019. Thankfully, this army has a weakness, and I'm speaking to my fellow Kenyans, I'm speaking to my fellow human beings, that thankfully that this army has a weakness, and it can be defeated. How? It only requires our collective action, discipline, and forbearance. COVID-19 cannot survive social and physical distancing. It only thrives when you confront it. It loves to be confronted very much. It capitulates in the force of collective social and physical distancing. It bows before good personal hygiene. It is helpless when you take your destiny in your own hands by keeping them sanitized as often as possible. This is not a time to cry about bread and butter like spoiled children. After all, the Holy Book tells us that man shall not live by bread, but every word that proceeds from the mouth of Yahweh. It therefore says that at this particular time, it is time to obey, it is time to follow the instruction of the authority. The Bible tells us that as believers, we have a responsibility and we are supposed to accord respect to whom respect is due. We accord honor to whom honor is due. We do everything as pertains to the scripture. Let's threaten this COVID-19. Let's exercise patience. Let's be our brother's keeper. In no time we shall regain our freedom, our enterprise, our socializing. There is a president who said that we have the knowledge, we have the technicality, we have the wisdom to regain back an economy that has been destroyed. But we don't have the power, we don't have the knowledge, we don't have the technicality. We don't have anything to do in bringing life to someone who is dead. Let's work this together. Let's bring this COVID-19 to an end. It is a collective bargaining. When you do your part and I do my part, this COVID-19 is going to end. And then remember this, that Yahweh is always in control. He's going to lead us, He's going to guide us, He's going to help us. As long as we are going to be with Him, this COVID-19 is only for a period. And once it ends, Yahweh begins with us. There is life after COVID-19. Let's focus on the life after, not in this life before. Stay indoors if you can. Work from home. And then follow all the guidelines that has been given by the WHO and the government of your respective country. And we shall be able to overcome COVID-19 in Yahshua's name. Let's meet at 10 as we begin to dissect the scripture. Bye. Thank you.